This is John Cola with GrowingYourGreens.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. And today I'm all the way in Pahrump, Nevada, which is about 1 hour outside of Las Vegas. And I've come here to the Green Life organic vegetable farm that grows in living soil. Founded by Steve Cantwell, who also has Green Life Productions, where they grow living soil cannabis. And the reason why I'm here today on this 3-day event, I attended the first day, I missed the second, but I'm here the third day to film to show you guys just some of the things that you guys missed from not being here at the Soil Life Summit 2024. You know, this is the second Soil Life Summit that I'm aware of, but I hope they have them in the future. What I'm gonna tell you guys is this. This is the event you want to come to if you're into growing plants in living soil. How I would classify this is, I would say this is like regenerative agriculture. You know, whether you're doing it outdoors or whether you're doing it indoors, whether you're growing cannabis, which honestly most of the people here are into growing cannabis, and there's some very high level people that I've met here, or whether you're growing vegetables like me and many other people that are here. This is the event you want to go to literally take your game to the next level. There's so many things I've learned at this event that I've never heard other places. And what I like to think is that, I've learned a lot of things from cannabis growers, because that's where they really focus on using the best techniques out there to grow the highest quality and most productive cannabis plants. But we can apply all these things to vegetables and vice versa. Some of the things they're teaching here was learned in traditional agriculture, and then now they're applying to cannabis to take it to the next level. So this is a really cool event, and I'd highly encourage you guys to attend the next Soil Life Summit, should they have them in the future. This event is basically done up by Grassroots. They make the fabric pots that I'll show you guys in there that people in the living soil movement use the most, for sure, because they're special. And of course, I want to give a special thanks out to Green Life Farm here in Pahrump, for hosting this event. I think this is one amazing place with, greenhouses growing tomatoes here, ripe tomatoes here in even March. So anyways, what I'm gonna do in this video, it's gonna be a hopefully shorter, condensed video, is we're gonna go ahead and take you guys inside to show you guys what you missed. We're gonna show you the main speaker area, some of the areas where they have the workshops, some of the things that I've learned in a workshop this morning when I went to a composting workshop, as well as in this video, we're gonna have all my favorite vendors that you missed by not being here. And of course, many of them sell online, so you guys could still get some of these amazing products. I went through all the different vendors that were there, because sometimes they're hanging out in the talks, and I spoke with them, and there's ones that I like a lot and there's ones I like less, but if it's in this video, it's one of the best vendors at this event, and you should highly regard their products. And the other thing I'll be doing in other episodes, so make sure you click that subscribe button right down below if you're not subscribed already. Make sure you click the notification bell so you get notified when my new Soil Life Summit videos come out, because what I'll be doing is I'm interviewing some of the experts here on specific topics, such as composting, such as soil amendments, right? For you guys to spread some of the knowledge that you couldn't get by coming to their 1 hour lecture. I'm gonna try to get these experts, condense their knowledge down into nice videos that I sit and we talk, and you guys could learn from, so that you could get the knowledge by not even being here. Of course, they do film all the Soil Life Summit. That if you sign up for next year's summit, you'll be able to see the past Soil Life Summit conferences. I would encourage the owners of the Soil Life Summit to make all the content that they've captured here at these events free to people, instead of putting them behind a paywall so they have to pay for it. This is really important, and that's why I'm here to make videos that you guys could openly and freely watch. If you guys appreciate my content, before you go any further, smash the big thumbs up and share this video with others. That'll help out the YouTube algorithm, get this video out to more people. Anyways, let's go inside the Soil Life Summit and show you guys what you missed. All right, so we're walking into the farm, and there's this big, huge pop-up tent. This is the main speaker hall. I'll be going in there from the back, not the front, because they have speakers all throughout the day. You guys can see this is their schedule right here. Oh, they're just getting out right now. But yeah, they have it's different speakers, breakfast, lunch area, different days. Day 2 was regenerative agriculture. Day 3 was the growers' day. They also have workshops that you could learn from. And this is the main speaker area. And that's the main speaker area right there up at the top. And then there's chairs up front, and then a bunch of tables. And we'll let you guys know, be forewarned, not quite like a hot box in here, but you definitely get the smell of people burning cannabis openly and regularly. Of course, since we're on a whole farm, they have just regular greenhouses that they're just growing food here for the local area that's now being sold in Las Vegas from what I hear. And you guys can see that actually they're doing one of the workshops in the back of this greenhouse where they're growing in living soil. And there's a bunch of these 2 big greenhouses here on the site. And then they have a whole bunch of hoops at the back of the farm. So to me, it's really cool that actually, you know, because we are on a farm, they actually did hands-on workshops. So in this workshop right here that I was at earlier, they actually showed you guys how to make the best compost and the best practices to make the best compost. And I want to show you guys this real quick. All right, so what's going on here is they got a big piece of fabric, and this is actually a Grassroots fabric, and this is actually specifically made for composting and putting over your compost pile so that it keeps in the moisture, right? Doesn't let the sun, the UV rays, hit your compost, right? This is like next level composting, guys. So they want to cover the compost. You guys can see there's the pile underneath there that they made earlier. And I mean, one of the main tenets of making a high quality compost is getting a diversity of ingredients, right? They had people go around with a bucket on the property to pick up, you know, different organic materials they thought would be best for the compost pile, right? You could get different kinds of wood chips. You could get, you know, different kinds of tree leaves and vegetable scraps, and you want a really big diversity of ingredients because that will ensure you have make the best compost. And if you guys want to learn more about compost, once again, click the subscribe button, click the bell to get notified, because I'll be interviewing the composting experts that literally gave the talk and the workshop here this morning to show you guys some of the main concepts of making high quality compost that can literally supercharge your plant growth better than any compost you've seen before, because the compost is not just an NPK value, it is now literally a soil inoculant because it is teeming with microbes and teeming with life. All right, so walking into the farm further, what you guys are gonna see in one area, there's like a nice little area with picnic tables, outdoors to hang out. And then the other side, they have one big building, which they have a little at the second opening is where they have like snacks. If you guys want to buy snacks, you're hungry and whatnot. They have a little area here. They had a food truck the other day, but today they have this like a tent basically that's serving food for like lunch. Looks like they're closed down now. And the other thing they have that's here that's really cool is they do farm to table dinners every night. That is an optional thing you could add on if you guys want to eat like locally grown food, literally made here on the farm, which is quite amazing. I mean, this is like truly like living this lifestyle. And then of course the opening over there near the vitalgardensupply.com, you know, that goes into where all the vendor booths are. And I think that's what I'm going to do next for you guys, is we're going to go ahead and head in and show you guys my favorite vendors at this event. All right, first up, guys, I'm going to show you guys the vendor, the vitalgardensupply.com, and they got a few items that I really like a lot. And of course, they have all the other items that they could ship to you. That's what they specialize in, you know, while they sell at local nurseries in the area and better hydroponic stores. They'll also ship to you, and that's really where the benefit is. And they got some very exclusive products that can take your garden to the next level, so let's check them out. All right, first up, guys, I want to really tell you guys about this product that's being exclusively distributed by Vital Garden Supply, and it's right here. I met these guys inside, talked to them like the other day, a couple hours actually. This is Catalyst Bioamments, and I'll show you guys inside when we go to their specific booth, right? This place sells their product, has a limited shelf life. It also comes in bags that can breathe. And what you guys don't understand about this product, this is not like a compost you get at Home Depot or some other place near you, right? That stuff is garbage. That's basically just like they're running waste products through a system, and there's big industrial baggers and companies that just turn it into compost with really no care on the quality of the compost, right? If you guys are looking for the best compost on the planet, this is it, but you're not going to be filling all your raised beds with this stuff because this stuff is quite expensive. But what I'll tell you guys is this: you could use this compost to your benefit by looking at this not as a compost, but as a soil biologic or inoculant. So you're going to take this, right? You could top dress a few plants with it. You could also, more importantly, brew a compost tea with it, or even more importantly than both those is actually you could take some of this and actually add it to your new compost pile that you're creating, and then take your compost to the next level, because this has guaranteed soil life biology from Earthfort or Elaine Ingham, who's actually speaking here, and she's connected with the Catalyst. So this is like the finest compost money can buy anywheres, because before every batch goes out, they test it under a microscope. So that's really next level. And you know, this company will ship it to you here. Of course, the best solution is to not ship compost all over the country, but once you guys buy it once, you could inoculate your compost piles with this compost. And of course, make sure you click the subscribe button, make sure you click the bell, because I'll be interviewing the owners of Catalyst in an upcoming episode to show you guys all the secrets about making your own high quality compost like they do here. And of course, the only place to buy this certified online is direct from Vital Garden Supply. That way you are assured this compost is not sitting in a warehouse for months and months. You're getting the freshest, most biologically active compost. So if you guys are looking for some good guano, right, they got the shit. Like literally, they got the shit. This is the Vital Seabird guano that's literally aged, and then they put in a bag. It's 0110. This is triple certified organic, CDFA, clean green, and an EnviroCan, I believe, right here. They could ship you guys this 5 pounds, really good pricing. And then of course they also got the Vital Bat Guano 631. So this is one of the cleanest, you know, sea guano or bat guano that you guys could get. If you guys are looking for some good guano, I like to add it like just top dress in some of my plants for the beneficial nutrients. And of course, another thing that I'm really an advocate of that really is really talked about here is diversifying your inputs, right? Diversifying what you're feeding, not only your compost pile, but also your plants, and with some really cool, clean, you know, products that Vital Garden Supply can supply you with, you could do it. So while Vital Garden Supply has the compost that I really like, you know, they also have their own branded compost, and I'll say that this compost, after looking at it, is definitely a lot better than compost you're just gonna get at your big box store. They've been working with this compost facility for years to dial in and make sure they have biologically active compost. You know, that being said, the other compost that I just showed you guys, definitely better than this one. And of course, I always encourage you guys to produce your own compost, or, you know, source, you know, compost locally. That being said, I think some of the products that can benefit you guys a lot are right behind me. Vital has their whole line of different Vital tea, a granular humus, fish powder, Vital kelp, Vital flower power. What I will say is that I'm a big fan of the dry ingredients that you could mix up yourself, so they're not having to ship, you know, water in packages to you. And these are quite concentrated, so they'll make a lot of nutrition. I really like foliar feeding some of these nutrients, such as the fish, the kelp, and even the Vital flower power that can help flower production. You know, think if your peppers don't really make a lot of peppers, right, then you're gonna wanna use a Vital flower power, right? That's gonna help you boost your production on your peppers or other flowering crops. Over on this side, you know, they have lots of other different liquids that are a little bit different than the powders, so you could use those. I think I like, of them all, I like the Vital Plus Biological Inoculant, which has a whole bunch of different subtilis species of bacteria that can help nutrient uptake, as well as, to a lesser degree, you know, help fight different, you know, bacterial invasions and whatnot. Of course, they have their own very own Vital tea kit that will help you brew your own compost tea, and it comes with a proper mesh bag and properly sized pump with all the ingredients you need to make your tea. I think it's like a little bit over $100. And of course, they also have, if you're gonna brew compost tea on a larger scale, like in a big 55-gallon drum, they got these really cool brew bags that has a proper 400 mesh, and this is going to be really easy to clean, and that's one of the most important things they talked about in the composting class is, you know, we want to clean all the biologics after we're done making compost tea or whatever and sterilize everything, and all the biofilm's not going to affect your next brew. So super important. And you know, Vital people are good people here, so I've negotiated a special discount for you guys. It's hard to get discount on the Vital stuff, but I negotiated a discount for them. If you guys want to get the 10% off discount, you guys want to use the coupon code GYG at vitalgardensupply.com to get any of these products or even more products that they have in their catalog. And they sell some of my favorite things like rock dust and some really cool products that you can't normally find at a standard gardening shop, you know, especially like the silica powder. For those of you guys that are in the know, you guys know that stuff's really good. They got some, these guys, Blacksmith Bioscience, for, you know, beneficial microbes that'll help fix nitrogen or phosphorus or even help your plants defend against diseases. I mean, they got some really high-end products. You guys want to definitely check them out. vitalgardensupply.com. All right, so before we head inside to the vendor area, and you know, during the breaks when the main talks are out, the vendor area is like literally packed. You know, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in another 15 minutes when the vendor area is going to clear out because the next talk is starting. But while there's vendors inside, you know, some of them have actually displays set up outside. And that's what I want to show you guys, because the displays is actually the products in use and how you would use them at home, which is quite valuable to be able to show the products to the full extent. I would hope that, you know, each vendor would have like next to their booth, like displayed inside instead of outside, their products. So you don't have to like walk all the way down to check out to see how some of these products are used. So let's check out the product demonstration setup outside. Now I want to show you guys one of the most important areas of this whole event that was so important to me, and I want to bring it to you guys right now. You know, you guys don't understand what you guys are looking at. Of course, you're seeing the Grassroots Fabric Pots that's used here in the living soil community, but more importantly, you're seeing next level irrigation system that's going to conserve the most water and more importantly, give your plants exactly what they need, right? I've been having some issues with irrigation at my place lately. My timers stopped working, and the other thing I've always hated about irrigation, you know, for the longest time is that, you know, we irrigate based on watering times, like, oh, you gotta, you know, run the system for 10 minutes, you know, but how do you know that your plants really need 10 minutes of water based on the soil type, the plant, how big it is, right? A tomato in the summertime needs a lot of water, and tomatoes, when you're just planting them, you know, when they're new babies, seedlings, right, they don't need a lot of water. You're gonna flood them, so you always have to keep adjusting your irrigation time. And I know some of you guys are thinking, John, now they have soil sensors and all these things that could then modify your irrigation times, but you know what? Those things like fail, they break, and they just don't really work in my experience. And plus, if your irrigation timer goes out, right, you could lose your whole crop. This is not cool. So there's a solution, and this is not the first time I'm showing you guys a solution, but this is the time that I need to jump up and step up to the next level, and actually I need to implement this myself after learning more about it and being really frustrated. Actually, just about a month ago, I had major issues, and it's preventing me from traveling because my irrigation system broke, and I couldn't travel until it was fixed, right? So that's really the beauty of this system, because this system, you leave constant water pressure on, and literally the plant will dictate to the system when the system is going to water the plant. I mean, it's really a smart system if you think about it, and that's what I want to share with you guys right now, how this system works and how I believe a lot of you guys should upgrade. I'm going to tell you guys how you guys could easily upgrade. Literally, they're gonna make it easy for you guys to do that, to get this out to you guys, because more people, in my opinion, need to know about the Bluemat irrigation system that's originally invented over in Europe, and, you know, of course, available here in the US to take your gardening, your plants to the next level, to give them exactly the amount of water they need without excess waste. I mean, especially here in the West, where watering, you know, there's water restrictions and all these things. This is only going to give your plants what they need. It's never going to give them more, never going to give them less, right? And that is the beauty of this system. Saves water, gives your plants what they need. And when your plants are happy, what does that mean? That means you're happy because you're going to be having more food, more nutritious food, healthier plants. They're going to be less affected by bugs, disease, and not bothered as much by the elements either. So yeah, let's check out the Bluemat Irrigation System. So the coolest thing about the Bluemat system is that you don't need to be on, you know, just city water, right? You could catch your own rainwater, right? Be off the grid in the middle of mountains, in the middle of nowhere, and use the Bluemat system to irrigate your garden or farm, right? That's the coolest thing, because this does not require any power, right? It uses literally water pressure to do it. So, you know, here today they're using a garbage can to hold water, right? If they want to raise the garbage can up another 5 feet tall or maybe 10 feet high off the ground, you'd have some water pressure behind it, and they wouldn't even need this pump. There's a pump here, and this pressure tank keeps the pressure at the right pressure. Then they have basically a regulator that regulates it down to 13 PSI. And then that's when their system operates at about 10 to 13 PSI approximately. And this is very important of this part of the system is you need to have constant water pressure. This system will not work without constant water pressure. The cool thing is it's at a low pressure, right? I think my city waters are like 50 PSI. So if you're using city water, you'll basically just need to have this set up right here to reduce the water pressure to the appropriate low pressure so that the Bluemat system could work. So that's number one. Source of the water, you know, whatever source you got, rainwater, river water, just needs to be up high or put under pressure so that this system can operate. Once you have the proper water pressure, this system is very simple and easy to use. Literally, there's a 10-page document, and actually 2 of the pages are just diagrams that literally this is the book on how to use this system. This is not rocket science. It's not really that difficult to set up, but you do need to learn how to use it because it's unlike any irrigation system I've seen before. They tell you how to check the moisture levels, adjust the sensors, you know, everything you need to know, economics, you know, how it's really gonna pay for itself because you're gonna have healthier plants, higher production, more importantly, conserve water. Now, let's go ahead and go more into how this system actually works. We're gonna do a few things. We're gonna show you guys how it works in a little raised bed and also in little pots, the fabric pots, as well as a really cool system they have here where you literally set a fabric pot or an open bottom pot on this mat, and the mat will automatically water the pot as needed from, you know, basically sub irrigation from the root zone. It'll actually wick up into the pot itself. This is like truly next level, right? And once again, all this is being determined by the soil moisture, right? So the plant is going to determine if the plant's pulling out more water, the soil is going to lose moisture, and then this system will water the plant more. So that's a truly amazing thing. Let's go ahead and check it out in a raised bed situation because that's how I'll be using this system in the future. All right, so you guys can see we got basically a 4-foot by 4-foot raised bed. This is a Grassroots Living Soil fabric pot. These are not just any fabric pots, guys. These are pots that actually have a lining on the inside, you know, up to a certain point so they don't dry out as quickly, which will conserve more water and also encourage more healthier root growth, you know, without the drying out, especially in hotter, warmer climates. But anyways, as you guys can see, this is how the whole setup works. And the main thing is, once again, you got your pressure line here at the bottom. This is at 13 PSI. There's always constant water pressure. Of course, if you're not using the bed, you have a valve here, you could turn it off. But actually when I turn it off, I could feel the water pressure in there stopping or flowing. And then what happens is this water line that's pressurized goes to this point, it goes to a little T, and then it goes to this guy right here. And this is the heart of the Bluemat watering system. This is a little sensor that senses the moisture. It's basically filled up with water. And what happens is this little ceramic piece, so think like an Oya, like the old school Oyas, you know, that they would leach the water out. As this gets dry, right, it basically, the pressure in here changes, and then at the top there's a pinch valve that currently it's being pinched so that water is not flowing from the pinch valve because water is not needed. Should this pinch valve open, then what's gonna happen is water is gonna flow from the supply line side to this other side, which then it goes into this distribution network. And you can see they have this, actually it's on right now. It goes into this wicking tape. And actually this tape is kind of cool. This is like next level irrigation. It's made out of Tyvek, and it's just weeping out of these little holes. And the coolest thing about this Tyvek stuff is that it flows at a very slow and low rate, right? So it doesn't need like a lot of water pressure to actually operate, and it's actually quite wet. And because it capillates or slowly drips out the water, right, that means you're gonna get better even distribution. Like whereas a drip emitter that's dripping, it's gonna basically all go down in one spot. This is gonna more evenly and effectively, create moisture in the raised bed. So you guys can see they have it all set up here, and that's how this works. So I wanna show you guys this pinch valve here. So what happens is, as this dries out, the water in here will create a suction and pull this little thing down, right? And that opens a valve, because at the top, this hose is pinched. I mean, that's how literally this system works. It's not rocket science. And so that's a simply amazing thing, right? I mean, this works without electricity, using old school technology that you can now apply in 2024. Without all these extra computer things and all these sensors that can break. This is really not gonna fail. So let me show you guys, besides using it in a raised bed with this Tyvek tape, we could show you guys how you could use it in these fabric pots next door. All right, so once again, you guys can see the supply line here with constant pressure. And once again, it basically tees off and it goes into one side of the Bluemat sensor. Right now, the water is not coming out because this sensor senses the soil has the right moisture content. And you can adjust this to some extent by popping off this little top here. And then there's a little thing you could adjust here, and they have like two marks, a red mark and a blue mark. The red mark and the blue mark is where you want to be in between. They will factory set this up for you guys, to determine these marks so that you guys know the range. They're going to charge you a few bucks for this. Of course, you could do it yourself if you want to, but they want to make sure you do it, perfectly every single time, and that all your, Bluemats are adjusted properly. Because if you adjust one properly and don't adjust one properly, your results are going to be inconsistent, and you may have issues across your whole entire system. But when they adjust them to spec exactly, that means across your whole system, it's going to work perfectly. So anyways, you can set this for more or less soil moisture as you need for the plant. And once again, when this gets dry, the pinch valve will drop down. It'll allow water to flow out this little port here. And then they have these little rings, and you could just put this hose into the ring, and then it'll basically evenly distribute the water throughout the ring to your root zone. So they have smaller rings here, and they have some bigger rings here. So there's a variety of ways. I mean, you could even put a dripper on this if you had like a small pot, like 5 gallons or something like that, just to drop it out. Or maybe you don't even need a dripper. You could just basically angle this down and put it on a little stake so it doesn't flop all over to water smaller pots. That being said, for larger pots, you do want to distribute the water more effectively with one of these rings to get everything watered. Now, the cool thing is they got all these soil moisture sensors, right, to verify that their system is working. So we're going to go ahead and press this. And the reading on here is 56. And let me go ahead. I mean, better than a soil moisture meter is, you guys all hopefully have some fingers. You want to stick your finger in there, and to me, that's a really nice soil moisture. It's not too wet, not too dry, exactly where plants would be happy. I mean, that is literally the beauty of the Bluemat system, using in raised beds or fabric pots. But now I want to show you guys the next level of using their capillary mats to bottom water, little plants that are like on a seedling table, for example. And I mean, they even use the capillary mats, I think, on big farms. So let's check it out. So next up, I want to show you guys this technology. This is actually called the Aquaman, which literally uses a pressure sensor and the Bluemat system to give your plants the precise amount of water. This is especially important in like a nursery operation where they have thousands of plants like sitting on a bench. Now the caveat about this is that this needs to be totally level, right? This can't be on an incline, can't be on a slope. You got to make sure everything's leveled out so that this Aquamat could work. This Aquamat, I could maybe show you inside, but it has basically 4 distinct layers. It has a non-permeable surface on the bottom, and then it has two different surfaces. I can't show you guys this right now because it's all inside here. But basically what happens is when pressure is applied to this mat, and you know there's water pressure on the mat, you know what's going to happen is the water will go through the little level here that normally allows this to be dry, and when the sensor turns on, it'll allow the area that's being pressed on to become wet only. So underneath here we have a fabric pot, but this could be used as long as if you use plastic pots with a minimum diameter, right? It'll basically just wet the bottom of the pot so the plants could uptake the water and the soil could uptake the water. Now the caveat is this: you need to have a proper mixture with at least 50% cocoa or peat, otherwise your soil will not capillate using this specific system. That's a critical point that I want to mention. But yeah, this is cool that, you know, you could set up a greenhouse to have this so that you never need to water each pot. You could have a few sensors in your system that run this mat so that your whole, you know, greenhouse or hoop house could get watered only as the plants need it, not to as when you think you need to water. And now here's the cool thing about this whole setup, any of these Bluemats, because it's sensing soil moisture, right? The thing is this is not just like watering constantly, you know, like you may think it does. I mean, when we do an irrigation system, you turn on for 5 minutes, it waters, it gets pretty wet, and then hopefully you're allowing the plants to dry out again before you water again, right? That being said, nobody's perfect, and we're always watering a little bit too soon or sometimes too late. When you see your leaves droopy, that causes excess stress when you're overwatering or underwatering your plants. That being said, using the Bluemats, you're gonna keep a nicer range, you know, a more stress-free range for your plants. You're gonna still stress them out, because what's gonna happen is when the tensiometer meter is between, like, you know, maybe 50 and 90, it's in the sweet spot where, like, okay, the system knows you don't need to water. When it gets up to 100, it's like, oh, this soil's dry, let's kick it on to get it back down to 50. So you have true wet and dry cycles. And for those of you guys that know about plant biology and all this kind of stuff, you guys know that having some cycles where there's wet, dry cycles, I mean, this is critical on things like basil that don't like having wet feet, right? Lettuce could deal with more wet feet, but, you know, I would say that if you stress out the basil by having some wet and dry cycles, and once again being within their range, you could even get better production, you know, out of any plant for that matter. So that really is the true value of the Bluemat system. And the other thing about the Bluemat system is this is like, they're now doing this, because when I saw them before, they weren't doing this, right? They have a free quote system, so they will plan your exact system. So you could go to the website, click a free quote, you're going to submit how many raised beds you have, the size that you have, and any other specifics that they want to know. And then they're going to say, hey, to put in your system, you're going to need this many things, and this is the results that you could expect to see from it. This is how much it's going to cost, so that they make it easy. Because, you know, converting over to a Bluemat system, if you've never done this before, you know, could be a lot of work, but they're going to take the headaches out of it for you guys, so that you could easily make a system. If you guys want to learn more about the Bluemat system, make sure you visit the website sustainablevillage.com, and in the upper right corner there's a button if you guys want to get a quote to see how much a system like this that they will plan out for you guys, which takes definitely some time. So now you could convert your system over from standard irrigation to the next level irrigation, so that your plants could be happier, grow more, and also make you guys have less headaches from an irrigation system that has all these components that could plug, clog, jam, leak, or sometimes the batteries fail, and then your plants are left without water, and that ain't cool, and I hate that myself. All right, so what's happening now is that we're gonna go into the vendor area, and this is the best time or the worst time to go in the vendor area, depending on what you're wanting to do. Like, I'm trying to film, so I don't need all this background noise. So the best time to go in the vendor area if you're gonna film is right now, when everybody's in, like, there's a big growers panel, so like everybody's in there, like nobody's in here, and maybe some booths are even empty, but luckily I've learned about the different booths to be able to explain the products in there without anybody even working there. So that's where I'm gonna take you guys inside and show you guys the best booths. That being said, the best time to come to booths is when there's no talks, because then this place is packed and you can learn a lot just by listening, and I encourage you guys to do that a lot. Like, I tend to listen a lot, and I learn a lot of things just by listening to other people's questions or hearing spiels. that people are talking about. So let's head inside the vendor area and show you guys the best vendors here at the Living Soil Summit. All right, so the first booth I want to show you guys is actually the Grassroots Fabric Pot booth. And they sponsor, really a big part of the summit and put this on for you guys to come to. And this is the favorite fabric pot of the Living Soil movement right here. And there's a very important reason for this. I mean, I know you've seen lots of fabric pots online, but they're not all the same. I mean, yes, they're made out of fabric, but the thing with the Living Soil pots is, they have basically a liner in here that is waterproof, all the way down to just a few inches of the bottom, so the water could still drain out should you overwater, but this is going to keep more, moisture in your pots, so your plants could have better performance, right? Fabric pots were originally made for the nursery industry, for specifically trees, right? Not necessarily growing vegetables in and all these ways that people use them these days. So that's why these Living Soil pots keeps better soil moisture, which then will keep better soil biology, which then means your plants will do much better and perform a lot better. So besides just the standard fabric pots with the bottom, right, they now have the new pots, and this is the new way of growing plants. You basically fill up this tube with all your soil, your plants will grow in there, the roots will grow out. The roots could even fill this bottom even quicker because it's open in the bottom. And then you just take this full pot and you can place it on top of your raised beds. The roots coming out the bottom will then grow into your raised beds. So that's kind of like a cheater way to start growing your plants more quickly. Of course, if you are transplanting, it's a lot easier to transplant out of a pot that doesn't have a bottom, because you can just basically push it down through the bottom or through the top. The other thing I like about the Grassroots, and I hope to get a system like this, is that they have actually raised beds. And unlike most raised beds out of fabric pots that have floppy sides, and I've had this issue myself with floppy sides on fabric pots for raised beds, which I hate. This is a little model I showed you guys out there. They basically use PVC as a framing to keep your sides up and to keep it stable. And that I really like a lot. So if you guys want to learn more about the Grassroots Fabric Pots, you can visit them at grassrootsfabricpots.com. All right, the next booth I want to show you guys real quick is actually the Sustainable Village. And this is a Bluemat watering system that you guys just saw outside. And they have other different kinds of irrigation accessories. I would call them irrigation experts. If you guys need something about irrigation, taking your irrigation system to the next level, definitely want to check out Sustainable Village. They're at sustainablevillage.com. All right, so the next vendor here I want to show you guys is actually Catalyst Bioamments, and I discussed this a little bit at the Vital booth that's outside, but I really want to show you guys more about why this compost is really next level compost. It's not just a compost, so you shouldn't really think of this as a compost. You should think of this as, biological activity that then you can use to your benefit, right? They check on a microscope. They're checking soil here, whether it's their soil or people are bringing in their soil so that people could check out their soil to see how active or non-active it is, right? And they've really refined their system of creating high quality compost, because they're just not trying to turn organic matter into something that they could sell, right? Their specific goal in mind is to create a high food soil web, right? With different ratios of fungi to bacteria and high levels of these kinds of biology in your soil, right? The biology is critical for your soil health, and right, having the right biology versus not having the right biology can mean the difference between your plant survival or plant death. For example, having the right biology can make your plants more resilient to plant stress, whether that is cold temperatures, bugs, or disease, right? And so they just work on having the right biology so that you'll have the best success, and they could show you the different, creatures on the microscope. So I want to show you guys actually their compost real quick and discuss that a little bit more. All right, so what I'm going to tell you guys straight up is that this is probably one of the most expensive composts that I've ever seen in my entire life. So, that being said, I would say, although it is expensive, it's actually underpriced because it actually costs them a lot more, and they're literally scraping on the margins and not making a ton of money on this stuff. But this is what it is. This is the Craft Compost by Catalyst Bioamments, and that's what I'm going to say it is. I'm going to say it's a bioamendment. You shouldn't think of this as compost, because this is unlike any other compost on the planet that you've ever seen before, right? This is craft quality, like you drinking, good beers, like craft beers instead of like some kind of butt wiper stuff, right? That's what this is. And actually, this stuff is actually a little bit too dry. They're telling me, don't show that, man. This is too dry. I'm like, man, this is some of the moistest compost I've seen. They're like, this is a little bit drier than we like to sell it normally. You know, they monitor every single stage of the composting facility. And here's the thing. Ask most compost facilities if they see their compost as their baby or as their pet, right? That's what they do. I mean, because the microbes are their pets. They are nurturing the soil life in their compost, and they I mean, the guy that makes the compost, I talked to him, you know, for a while the other day, and he's like, man, I'm kind of concerned about my compost because like I like to be there and make sure everything is being done right to it, so it's going to have the most soil biology, the most activity, and be the healthiest, right? So if you guys do have a compost pile, you guys want to take care of it like it was your pet and treat it as best as possible. Not just ignore it like, oh, I mixed the browns and the greens. It's about the right ratio. It'll happen and I'll have some compost. Doesn't mean it's going to be good compost. So what I'm going to say is that this is the best compost. And more importantly, I want to read you guys what it says on the label, because this pretty much tells it like it is. Catalyst Bioamments Craft Compost is used to create a desirable soil structure for plants, right? This is the best structure on any compost I've seen, because it is the right moisture level, right? It sticks together like it should, doesn't fall apart. Of course, we can smell it. It has a nice neutral smell, very important. And then it also adds organic matter to soil, improves water retention, and promotes an environment for the entire food soil web to thrive. So that's the most important thing. There's balances of different microbes and different arthropods and creatures in here, so that when you get the compost, whether you're going to top dress it, or more importantly, how I recommend you guys use this, is that you multiply the biology in this compost by creating a compost tea, right? You can create a compost tea, but more importantly, once you have some of this stuff, you can add it to your compost pile to now get the diversity and literally use this as a quote-unquote seed to add to your compost pile, so that you'll have some of the best biology on the planet added to your compost pile. And then all you need to do then is nurture your personal compost pile to have compost hopefully as good as this. Of course, you'll probably also have to get a microscope, because every batch that they harvest, and if you order directly on their website, before they ship it to you, they'll actually harvest the batch, bag it up instantly, right? So there's no waiting time. They'll check it on the microscope and make sure it passes their muster, their minimum standards of what they're looking for before they ship it to you. So it's active biology, literally in a bag. So you could use this, you know, I would say, in addition to other biologic amendments, you know, that maybe in some cases are dormant when you're using like white powdered mycorrhizae, for example. The other thing, I'll be interviewing the team at Catalyst Bioamments to show you guys how you guys can make high quality compost at home. So make sure you click that subscribe button right down below and click the bell so you get notified when my video where I interview them in person to show you guys the secrets of making the high quality compost that they do here. So you guys want to learn more about Catalyst Bioamments, you can visit them at catalystbioamments.com. The next vendor I want to highlight for you guys is actually Organics Alive, and how I see them is like literally all these products are based on microbial ferments, right? They're carbon based, and if you guys are looking for something for a hydroponic system specifically, because people ask me all the time, John, what's the best organics to run a hydroponic system? And I'll say, well, I mean, unless you want to crud up your system with all this biofilm, you really don't want to use organics in a hydroponic system. But these are different because they're not going to create all the biofilms, because they're already microbially digested, so they're available for the plants. So you can think that this is like organically derived nutrients for your hydroponic system if you do want to try to do your hydroponics organic, which I have whole other thoughts about. So yeah, the Organic Alive, they have, you know, not only the wet products, but they also have the dry products, many different types. You know, I'm not really going to talk more about them, but I want to put this information out to you guys that are looking for some kind of solution for, you know, growing hydroponically, but yet as organically as possible. So yeah, the products are amazing. A little bit goes a long ways. You know, I've known them for a long time because I got their original compost tea brewer back in the day, because they were established in 2004, so I definitely trust the company. So you guys want to learn more about the Organics Alive, you can check them out at organicsalivegarden.com. All right, honestly guys, one of my favorite vendors here, who I've followed for so long online, because they have their own YouTube channel, which I encourage you guys to check out. I'll put a link down below. It is Build-A-Soil, and I know a lot of you guys that are out there that follow me also follow Build-A-Soil. because like me, they share next level stuff. And more importantly, unlike me, right, they go out of their way to source the highest quality soil amendments and other ingredients you guys can use. And also like me, right, I'm a really big guy with open source, right? I had Josh from Boogie Brew. He shared his open source compost tea recipe. And that's what Build the Soil is about. They're sharing their open source recipes on how you could make your own like top dress soil. I mean, they'll say the top dress soil, but you don't want to source all the ingredients that they literally source from all over the country and the world to bring you guys high quality ingredients that are literally hand selected, right? You guys don't understand. There's a lot of literally crap going on in the industry, right? They don't sell, you know, factory, slaughterhouse byproducts like so many companies do, right? They've tried to source clean, you know, manures and they're just unable to do it. So they just don't even bother to sell those things. They find other alternatives and what I would call new and upcomers, things that people aren't even using, right? Over here they have a horticultural grade coconut, which is actually, I would say, a human grade coconut, right? To treat your plants like you would treat your pets, right? I drink coconut water. It's one of the best sources of electrolytes. Not even talking about electrolytes. There's also things like plant cytokines in coconut so that the coconut could float across the ocean, right? And stay vibrant and not mess its DNA up. So then it could, you know, it could plant itself on a beach across the ocean, sprout and grow into a big tree, right? These are the kind of products they'll use so that you guys can get some of those very properties from the coconut, from the aloe, which is another thing that more people should be using, right? Grow aloe, whether you're gonna eat it yourself, and yes, it is edible. I have videos on that where I discuss this, but also for propagating plants and like literally sticking cuttings into the gel in there will feed the plant, and also there's lots of different nutrients and fibers and things that, you know, aloe is good to feed tea, for example, to, you know, feed the tea other kinds of sugars than just molasses, which is what normally people do. So like that's what Build a Soil is all about. They have so many different products. I could go over all of them here, but, you know, waste my time. But I want to encourage you guys to check out their YouTube channel. Once again, link down below. You know, while most of their content is focused around cannabis, the other thing I want to let you guys know is that a lot of the content focused around cannabis and building soil for cannabis, right, could also be used for growing vegetables, right? Whether you're growing indoors, which is what they specialize in, although they have a lot of outdoor content too. They really want to get people growing indoors in pots using a more living soil mix, using some of the best purposely sourced ingredients on the entire planet. And if you guys love Build a Soil like I do, I'll be interviewing Jeremy in an upcoming episode. Make sure you click the subscribe button. Make sure you click the bell to get notified as that video comes out, so you guys could learn more about the philosophy of Build a Soil and all the amazing products that they offer. Of course, if you want to visit them, you can check them out at buildasoil.com. All right, so I think that's it for my episode today at the Soil Life Summit 2024 with the general overview of what this whole thing is about, as well as my favorite vendors. I mean, some of those vendors had some really amazing products, and I want to hear from you. What product did you like the most, lit you up the most, that got you excited the most about all the amazing products here at the Soil Life Summit 2024? Post your comments down below. I want to read the comments, and if I get overwhelmingly a lot of comments about any particular item, I may feature that on a future episode for you guys. Of course, I'll be converting my whole garden to using the Bluemat system because it's just a much more intelligent system. And of course, if you guys want to see more videos about some of the specific vendors, right, make sure you click the subscribe button down below. Make sure you click the bell so you get notified as my new videos where I interview some of the experts that I've met at this episode about, specifically on things like composting, super critical to learn about so that you guys could enhance and grow better fruits, vegetables, herbs, nuts, and seeds, and fruits, or whatever else you guys are growing on your property. So if you guys enjoyed this episode, hey, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. More importantly, share this with other people that would enjoy learning about some of the advanced level living soil knowledge that's out there. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you miss out on my new and upcoming episodes that are coming every 5 to 7 days. You never know how sharp or what you'll be learning on my YouTube channel. Make sure you click the little bell so you get notified as we do videos come out. And finally, be sure to check out past episodes. The past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. Over 1,700 episodes at this time on this channel dedicated to teach you guys all about how to grow your own organic fruits and vegetables of the highest quality. So with that, my name is John Kohler with growingyourgreens.com. We'll see you next time, and until then, remember, keep on growing.